show solidarity to this family, because as my colleague
in April last year, while collecting used cans after losing his job, Mr. Ma was viciously bitten into coma here, right here, and finally succumbing to his injury 2 weeks ago. Today, we want to remember how he faced head-on the hardship of leaving behind a familiar country and came to America to seek liberty. To make ends meet, he was willing to pick up used cans to support his family. Let's remember the adventurous spirit that brought him here, the grit and the tenacity it took, and his willingness to sacrifice for his wife and his children. Mr. Ma, we are so sorry America has disappointed you. We failed to provide for you when your apartment caught fire and when you lost your job. We failed to improve the safety of our streets, especially this part of 125th Street, which we know for decades as unsafe. Just look at those broken windows over there. We failed to help people with mental illness. We failed to curb anti-Asian sentiment. And we will fail again if we don't hold elected officials accountable for making fundamental change in Harlem and in New York City. How do we strike a balance? How do we not leave people with serious mental issues languishing in homeless shelters and subway system? Question number one. Question number two, how do we keep this particular area safer? Over the decade, government continues to put more social services unwanted by other neighborhoods here and in some other black and brown neighborhoods. It becomes a breeding ground for criminal elements and mental health issues. And ultimately, it impacts other districts too now, as we see. So how can social services in New York City be more fairly distributed? I'm going to turn over to our Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg.
I want to start by echoing the sentiment of we are one, which we heard earlier. We are all one. We're all one in this community. I'm a neighbor here. This affects me deeply. It's intolerable. We will not stand for it. In my office, we are deepening our capacity. We're expanding our hate crimes unit so that we can give these cases the resources that they deserve. Obviously can't talk about a specific matter, but know that this matter is one of utmost importance to us. And we'll continue to stand with the community and the family. And I know you told me like the visit to be brief, so I will leave it at that for the day. Thank you.
Well, are you going to upgrade the charges, sir? Will you be upgrading the charges?
I can't talk about an open case, but you will be hearing from us in the days that come about the case.
But we want to hear specifically about what's the plan to keep us safe.
So, safety is primacy in our office, right? That's what I go to sleep thinking about, and that's what I wake up thinking about. And it's focusing on the drivers of crime, focusing particularly, you mentioned it in your remarks, in this neighborhood, which I know and call home, and our oversaturation here. And so getting a balance in this neighborhood of both services, and you mentioned some of our great service providers, but also the safety that we need and we deserve. Law enforcement here working side by side, we will keep this community safe. That's the plan. The plan is for our prosecutors to handle these cases, give them the attention they deserve. We have those phenomenal, dedicated career prosecutors in the Manhattan DA's office, and handling these cases and doing them vigorously as we will send a message to the communities that we stand with them and that we will not tolerate these.
He's asking for something from us, and I'm just going to get council members resources to just give.
Calvin Hunt, hate crimes activist for Harlem Community Watch. Okay, I just want everybody just to be silent for 1 minute. The reason why I said that, because that's what Mr. Ma, I was at the funeral last week with the family, and it was horrific. That's all I can tell you. Right there on that corner, that's where he was beat. And from his injuries, that's caused his death. That's why I'm glad that our faithful district attorney, Alvin Bragg, is here so I can let him know face to face, you must upgrade them charges to murder. Call a spade a spade. A homicide is a homicide. That was a murder. Resolve them from there. And hopefully I'll be working with Mr. Bragg to bring some justice to the city because they've been taking a lot of his words and twisting them. I stand before you and I'll say this, I hope I don't offend nobody because I don't bite my tongue. Each incident, a black male has pushed Mrs. Gold over the train station and killed Mr. Ma. So I want y'all to realize one thing. All black people in Harlem is not like that. We love the Asian community. I stand behind the Asian community. I have another organization called Asian Lives Matter. So when y'all see this, I don't want nobody to start no hatred or no thing like it's a clash between blacks and Asians. Because there's a lot of Asians out here right now that know me. I'm in Chinatown, I'm in Flushing, I'm on 59th Street. Everywhere an Asian has had something happen, I has been there. To let y'all know that all blacks don't think like that. It's like all Asians don't think like that. You got 2 degrees. And I'm gonna say this, I hope I don't offend nobody. Black people and niggas, it's a difference between white folks and a cracker. It's the mentality of it. So when you see somebody like that, don't say a black man pushed that lady in front of the train. Don't say a black man killed Mr. Ma. No, that was a nigga. And there's a big difference, like night and day. All right, I'm a black man. Richard Cabacha, black man. Al Sharpton, Mr. Bragg, these are black men. We trying to bring justice to the streets in the city of New York. So I want y'all to remember this family, Brother Colin here and Mrs. Ma. I want y'all to keep them in your prayers and don't forget them like y'all did Sean Bell. Because New York is good for that. You know, we get roused up for a minute and have a couple of vigils and next week I say, you remember Ma? Who? Yeah. Not who, Ma. All right, so let's get out that stigma of forgetting where we come from. And on that note, God bless this city. God bless our Mayor Eric Adams. And God bless Alvin Bragg for doing a good job. And he's going to continue to do a job because he's going to have people in the streets with him.